Hey guys, how are you? I'm sitting here with a cup of tea and I'm just going to give you a little sort of 15-minute intro before I actually do your individual tarot scopes this month. I want to say welcome to August. It's going to be an interesting month, and I do feel actually this next 4 to 6 weeks, um, expect the unexpected. I often say that about eclipses, and we are going to be mentioning those, just touching on those briefly. I'm just going to get some notes up. I've made a few bullet points, so I'm just going to jump on with this. So, just going to go back a little bit. I read that around 12, 13,000 years ago, apparently, this comet hit the planet, and, the relics of the past were actually destroyed, and all the structures were taken down. Then the planet. Um, began to reseed. All right, and I think that's where we're at on a collective level at the moment. I think we need to do that. We are looking at reseeding. It's how we do it. That's the issue, and I think that with Pluto in Capricorn, certainly, Saturn in Pisces, of course, that Plutonian power within organisations, governments, regulatory bodies, within our societal systems. And Saturn in Pisces retrograde, guys, we've got lots of retrogrades in the sky, so we are sort of revisiting a lot as well. It's a rather dreamy sort of, anybody who's Pisces, the home of the artist, the musician, but it's a very dreamy, behind the scenes energy. There's a lot of inspirational energy there, but it is quite behind the scenes, and it can be a little bit smoke and mirrors. And I think that we really need to be on our toes, not be distracted by nonsense that we may be reading or looking at. It's important that we keep it together, simply because I do feel that, the government or the societal energy that these bodies are quietly attempting to dissolve, very Neptune by the way, the values and traditions of our past. And yeah, we do need progressiveness for sure, and Uranus in Taurus is going to sort all that out. But I think that, Uranus is, it's about value systems, certainly in Taurus, but it's also about monetary systems as well, where we're very aware of that the monetary systems are being sort of, pushed. There are real extremes of that, and that's another word that comes under Uranian Aquarian energy is extremes, it's fringe, and of course we're seeing a lot of fringe element as well coming up at the moment. So at the same time, though, I actually believe that, particularly with Jupiter moving retrograde in Taurus around the 5th of September, so it's sort of the early part of next month, September, I think it's going to be interesting, because I think that a lot of us are now realising that getting back to nature, right, and being your authentic self in a way, certainly with Uranian energy, is very important. And as I said, Uranus continuing to change and, faff about with the systems, monetary systems. But I think getting back to nature is going to be interesting. We've lost that naturalness in a way, haven't we? So again, not being afraid to embrace that naturalness. And I think that there is going to be this awakening of latent skills, like self-sufficiency. Yeah. Self-reliance, all of these things, which of course is hardwired, but we've forgotten it because we've just been lulled into this false security, nanny state energy, which is going to be, which has not really helped us too much. I think it's sort of, I think it's been more of a devolution than it has an evolution. I think it's taken us back in time rather than giving us the energy to go forward and make change. So it is important that we stay awake with Saturn in Pisces. And we've got Saturn squaring a few bits and pieces, which I'm going to talk to you about. So yeah, I think revisiting philosophies, beliefs again, and sharpening those survival skills, those natural skills that we have. And don't forget, we've still got the lizard brain, guys. It's still in there. All right, that fight or flight. So what's it going to be? I think that's important. So yeah, I'm just going to move on a little bit here, guys. So I'd like to think that all this Uranian energy, and of course when Pluto finally makes its move into Aquarius, which you know, it's still going to be in and out, even when it moves sort of, it sort of dips its feet into Aquarius sort of January 24. It's still going to be in and out for a while. So I actually think that, yeah, there's going to be this awakening, this higher intelligence, if you like. And I think that's coming. I think that, yeah, we're going to get things together, guys. So that's good. Okay, so let me just move on a little bit here. Yeah, I've just written down here that I think that certainly with this instinctive, this sort of survival instinct, that which is that Aries quality, you know, it's that warrior energy, isn't it, inside us? And of course the nodal shifts, we seem to have lost that sort of fight, you know, the alpha energy. We seem to have lost it in some way. And I am absolutely convinced that it is down to these sort of decades of nanny state conditioning. And for the majority, I also think a fear of being ostracised. You know, we conform to belong. It's a natural way to be. You know, we prefer group energies. I mean, but not always. You know, I mean, it's also a time to be individuated and stand outside the group. And it's okay to do that. It's okay to be different. Sure, of course it is. But I just sort of feel that recently sort of individuality, you know, it's been ostracised. You know, if you think differently, if you stick your head above the parapet, you're liable to get it shot off these days. So it is quite important that we sort of stand strong in that sovereignty and we keep going. So it's okay to be a nonconformist. You know, it is okay. So that's where I'm at anyway at the moment. So let's have a look at this nodal shift. Now this happened 17th, 18th of July. And of course we had the North Node that entered Aries and the South Node that entered Libra. And they're going to stay there until about the 11th of Jan of 2025. So we've got 18 months of that. And we've also got these eclipses that are going to be coming around October time, mid-October, at the end of October. And, you know, I've written a couple of blogs about that. You know, we should never ever underestimate the power of an eclipse, you know, ever. And these eclipses are going to be powerful. They are going to extend into 2024. So yeah, there's a lot coming this year, but let's just concentrate on what's happening this month. We've got a full moon in Aquarius on the 1st of August. It's a supermoon in Aquarius. And it, you know, bottom line is it can be unpredictable. Aquarius is unpredictable. But again, I am saying to you that individuality is the key here. You know, your individual needs, that's key. You know, your inventiveness, you know, if you want to revolutionize something or if you want to revolt against something, you know, but it's also group dynamic energy as well. So it's family groups, people of like mind, so on and so forth. So yeah, it may well be that that's going to grow. We've got this full moon. But I also feel that, yeah, there's sort of this awakening of the masses, really. Sort of Khaleesi, the breaker of chains sort of thing. If that makes sense. So yeah, I think there's going to be quite a bit of movement around sort of that group connection, certainly. I think mid-month we've got this new moon in Leo, which is lovely, lovely Leo, very, very inspiring energies. We talk from the heart, you know, it comes from the heart, creativity. It's a really, really good time to plan, to give any ideas that you've had inspired from that last full moon in Aquarius. You know, it's about you now sort of putting things into place now, making plans. And I think with the sun and moon in alignment with Venus, who has just gone retrograde, by the way, and of course Venus rules Taurus as well as Libra. I think there is going to be a little bit of a confusion around your relationships, guys, both past and present. So it can be a wee bit tricky to find that sort of balance and that middle road, but it's pretty good energy, really, on the whole. But if you do need to turn the page on something, you know, if it's you're not reading off the same page anymore and you do want to move onward and upwards, then that's good. Or you can sort of stay and deal with that and try and fix that connection if that's what you want. You know, if you feel that that's right for you, then by all means do that. And then we've got a full moon, another full moon at the very end of the month, and that's on the 30th of August. And this moon is in Pisces. We have Saturn in Pisces retrograde, of course, so a lot of water in the sky at the moment. Although Pisces is a transcendent energy, it's very creative, we know this. This moon actually does square Saturn in Pisces retrograde. So I do feel there are a few reality checks here as well, guys. So if you've sort of been putting the odd letter behind the clock, you've been ignoring it, or you've not been, maybe attending to sort of the practicalities of life. I think that as we're moving into sort of Virgo energy, obviously late August into September, my feelings around that are that it does need to be addressed, right? So, and bearing in mind that Pluto can talk about debt, for instance, or wherever you need to negotiate, Libra, and find a compromise with organisations or your partner or your family member or your kids or your boss or your work situations, or even your health, guys, certainly with Virgo energy, then it is, it's important that we sort of get that right as well. But it is about reality checks. So if you are sort of looking at bad habits, so on and so forth, if you've fallen into this feeling of where I'm within this relationship, but I'm not being who I truly am. And unless I can be who I truly am, what is the point of me being there, So it is important. And we've had Pluto squaring the nodes, as well, these nodes. And that exact square came around, I think it's 23rd of July. Yeah, I think. So again, it is going to square the nodes, but that was an exact. So it's going to be squaring the nodes for a bit longer. And I mentioned that I do feel it could be a little bit more unrest, in all honesty. So we have to sort of keep a look on that, and we do have to be really careful with what's happening with the Saturn energies. And that, don't forget, that is your Earth reality. It is your Earth reality. And whatever reality you're living at the moment, within your relationships, whatever's been going on, it's there. So I do feel with this North Node in Aries, we have got this sort of increased desire to be who we are, and we need to assert that, right? And to try and be more adventurous if we're able. And it's an exciting time. It's certainly an energy that's moving. It's fire energies, especially with that mid sort of new moon in Leo, of course. And of course, we're in Leo at the moment throughout August. So there's a lot of fire, but there's a gentle Leo. And there is that much more assertive and independent, sovereign energy that's coming in from Mars. So in Aries. So, it's tricky. Mars is going to move into Libra. He's in Virgo at the moment. So again, it's like getting the work done, having a look slightly deeper, be a bit more critical about certain things. But he is going to move into Libra, and that's when things slow up. It's not altogether happy. And given the fact that obviously we've got this Aries Libra polarity, so you can see where I'm going with that. Yeah, so it's not always so easy with Mars. Mars doesn't like being in Libra very much, right? And because we've got the South Node in Libra, I think that it's really going to reveal a lot of relationship issues, really, with this North Node, that's where we want to go, but I've got to go back and sort this out, this Libra South Node energy, so I think that South Node is going to reveal the cracks within relationships and issues that need to be dealt with, things that need to be sort of released and healed and moved on from. So whether or not that's codependency or just the fact that you've overcompromised, and we can all do that. We're good people, we all do that. Well, good people do anyway, and I'm sure there's more of those in the world than there are negative people. But I think that where you've compromised your authenticity, I think that's something that you need to look at. So I think it is important that this month, and certainly the first week or so of September, that we do what we can. It may well be that it takes us into mid-September even, that we can do what we can with this, and be constructive, and sort of seek out the cracks, seek out where you know, with repeated patterns, with, you know, relationship energies between ourselves and that other. So it's just a case of, you know, how can I put this to you? It's like, where might you be over compromising? Where might you be not finding that middle road? Where have you compromised yourself far too much, you know, to keep the peace? And you've done that and it's cost you dearly. So I think that we are standing up now. I think that this energy, certainly over the next 18 months, it's not going to happen a week on Friday, guys. I think the whole of this sort of year and a half, and again, certainly on a collective level, the ideal aim is to sort of find that middle road, find a balance where your needs are met or our needs are met collectively, societal need is met. And hang on, and also sort of the needs of the other. But again, it's about fairness, I think, and you know, and if we can't achieve that fairness, you know, we don't feel that we're being valued and we don't feel that we're getting what we need, then I certainly think that it may well be time to draw the line. So I hope that's helped you. What I'm going to actually do now is begin your 12 signs, your individual signs, guys. I want to say big shout out to my friends across the pond, because I know you're American from a lot of your comments. Thank you so much. I love all your emojis as well. Absolutely love it. We Brits are a little bit more reserved, but I am so grateful. I am so grateful that you actually share my stuff as well. Thank you so much. To, I think it was about 2,500 of you on both Pisces and Scorpio of the last month or so. I'm thrilled that you are joining and you are subscribing. So please click like, please click share for me. I really appreciate it. And I will start putting some more hashtags on there, by the way, because I know that that's my downfall. I'm not very techy in that respect. That Mercury in Cancer, so I'm not very techy in that way. But I've got to tell you guys, if you are interested in my teas, I just sort of do a little sideline. It is dropship, guys. There's not an awful lot to be gained from it, but I've got my reset on here. There are some really, really good designs on ascenti.co.uk. So if you want to check it out, I will put a link in the bottom. I just want to say thank you so much for listening. Enjoy your August. Be prepared, okay, to there could be a few sort of strong waves coming in, but we are going to be okay so long as we stay awake, we stay vigilant, and we stand firm in our sovereignty. Okay, thanks a lot, guys. I'm sending you loads of love, and thanks again for subscribing. Bye now.